Look, this time of year, there's no football. People love to throw out rankings. Hell, we did our top 10 head coaches yesterday. And quarterbacks, I think, is a very interesting conversation. So before I even get to any ranking or where I think some quarterbacks should or shouldn't be, I just want to ask a general question with all of you at home. Is Jared Goff a top 10 quarterback? And look, when you answer it, it doesn't have to mean that he's one of the 10 most talented quarterbacks. Your criteria may differ from mine. Circumstances may change your opinion on some quarterbacks than others. Deshaun Watson pre-Cleveland, post-Houston and all that crap, and then currently in Cleveland, is not a top 10 quarterback yet. Can be. Has more talent than some of the guys held that even made this list, right? So I think circumstances matter. Daniel Jones having a good season is just what it is. It's a good season. It is by no statistical measure an elite season or even close to elite. When Jared Goff finishes in the top 7 of touchdowns, passer rating, and passing yards, that's not a good season. That is considered borderline elite. But we'll get to making the case for Jared Goff. I do think he's top 10. I actually think he's 10. And the conversation he falls into for me is Dak Prescott, who's just the white version or the black version of Kirk Cousins. Then you have Kirk Cousins, who's the white version of Dak Prescott. A year ago, you probably would have been making a case for Ryan Tannehill coming off the season he had with A.J. Brown. But that's the circle he's in. Derek Carr, some of those guys, just guys that are good quarterbacks that can play at a really high level and also at a really, really low level.
Well, how about Matthew Stafford? He's technically a top 10 quarterback, but not the last season.
Matthew Stafford, I think, has to be in that top 10. I think it's a given. Given the season he had when healthy, last year wasn't healthy. Look, if his elbow is hanging on by a string, it is what it is. But the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Dude's 1 year removed from an MVP. Right. From back-to-back MVPs, actually. So I think there's some historical evidence that you have to factor in. And also last season's performance and how tangible was it? How repeatable is it? Daniel Jones, I mean, he can have the season he had again. Giants probably win 7-8 games. Like, he's nothing special. Dak Prescott, turning the ball over at a higher rate than ever. Kirk Cousins, good luck with that. Ryan Tannehill, on his way out. Like, who are the quarterbacks? So, look, Lucas, if you want to throw up the list, this is my comment to a Twitter list. So there was a PFF list that was put out, and it basically had Mahomes at 1, Josh Allen at 2, Burrow at 3, Lawrence at 4, Hurts at 5, Herbert at 6, and the rest of the list was garbage. Long story short, Kirk Cousins was 9, and Dak Prescott was 10, for context. And so I commented, and this was my top 10 list. I had Mahomes at 1, obviously. Burrow at 2. I think that's pretty obvious, but apparently not obvious to fucking America. Jalen Hurts, I think, very disrespected in a lot of quarterback lists. Dude's coming off an MVP-type season. He should be third on that list. He was the best quarterback, and it is the best quarterback rating in the NFC. He's top 3. Trevor Lawrence was the best quarterback in the NFL from Week 9 to Week 16. For the second half of the season, he was the best quarterback in the NFL statistically across the board. That's not even up for debate. That happened. So the sooner you acknowledge this guy is him, the sooner we can all get along. Number 5, Josh Allen. I don't like the turnovers. Way too many turnovers. That's why he's going to fall on this list. A year ago, he probably would have been top 3. Hands down, nobody would have argued. He turns the ball over way too much. I don't like it. Justin Herbert, I still think has to mature a little bit as a quarterback. Look, you want to pin the 27-0 loss or really lead, and then them blowing it on him, be my guest. I'm not much of a fan of that.
I don't care.
I still think he has to mature.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, a healthy Lamar, I think is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And then I rounded it off with Stafford, Rodgers, out of respect, along with what I expect them to do this year. And then Jared Goff. Now, you can argue Deshaun Watson. You could argue Tua Tagovailoa, Dak Prescott. You can argue Kirk Cousins. Be my guest. But what do you think of the list?
I think you looked at my notes.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be honest.
I tweeted this yesterday, bitch.
I didn't even see this tweet. Swear, I did not see this tweet. I just wrote a top 10 list before the show while I was just writing some things down. It's the same exact list. Just different.
Different order?
Yeah, but I have everybody you have in that list. I agree, 100%. I think Goff, the big thing, and
why is Goff in your 10? Let me ask you that first.
It's because coming off the season he just had matters.
So
I
it
value
does matter
that.
to you.
Yes, I'm not a guy, and I get why people would say, well, Deshaun Watson's better. Yes, in Houston he was better. He still has to prove that in Cleveland. Jared Goff, if you want to bring up, if you're going off past success, then you could bring up Goff and use it. Well, the last 2 years in LA weren't great. I'm not doing that. I'm going off last season, going into this season. And if you're going by that metric, Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback, statistically. He was last year. And the guys that I have left off this list that just missed it, Dak, who you kind of summarized it perfectly. Dak, I think, numbers-wise, could be a top 10 quarterback, but last year, definitely not. Deshaun Watson, no. Tua Tagovailoa wasn't healthy enough, so Jared Goff makes the list. Geno Smith, to me, 1 year doesn't make you immediately better than Jared Goff.
I love him. I love him.
On like the long list, it's Tua, Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, Geno Smith, and then Jared Goff at 16.
I honestly think they just haven't watched Lions football. And it's okay. It's fine.
I just don't know how, looking at last season, with all of Tua's injuries, that you can still rank Goff lower than him. And it's nothing against him.
I think if you want to rank by talent, Jared Goff is not in my top 10.
Right.
Because I'm going to have Tua over him. When healthy, Tua's much more talented. Let's see. Deshaun Watson, easily more talented. But I'm still going to have him over Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins.
So we just need more information on what all he factored into this
everybody's
exact
criteria
list.
is different for this stuff. To me, I think it matters that you finish top 7, top 5 in passing yards, top 5 in passer rating, and top 7 in touchdowns. I think that matters. Like, that really matters to me. He did that. Whether you like... you don't have to love Jared Goff. Statistically, he was one of the 7 best quarterbacks in the NFL last year. Does that not carry any weight? Geno Smith, yes, 1 year. I've seen Jared Goff do this before. He did it in L.A. Mm-hmm. So this isn't, Jared Goff's first season. Oh, my goodness. Where did this come from? This was Jared Goff in L.A. when they paid him all the money they paid him.
Yeah, the first 3-4 years in L.A. for Goff, very productive. And I think that's what people forget, too. Like, even Deshaun Watson, the guys that, and I love this comment, too, because Stephen Baffey pretty much summarizes how I feel as well. He said... once you get past 7, 8, there are about 10 quarterbacks that are so similar you could debate it for years. Yeah, like after I think about 8, 9, now you're just having debates. I think you'd probably lose every debate if you want to go against Goff at 10 right now. But again, PFF, I saw the list. That was terrible.
My criteria...
The quarterback, I don't know how they value it either, but I don't agree with Jared Goff at 16.
We're going to get to that next, where I think circumstance, what's your situation? Who's your head coach? What's the roster look like? All that probably goes into weighing this type of decision. But when we just want to talk about performance last year, right? If I were to rank a top 10 list alone, just off of performance... I'd have to move Jared Goff into the top 6.
I was going to say he's still in
just
the top 10.
Just off of performance. Threw more yards, more touchdowns, Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. I mean, but that's not what the list is about. It's not only the statistics. You're looking at the complete body of work, their talent, yes, of course. You're looking at the recent success, the recent ability, issues that you have with them. Do we both love Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Where'd you have him on your list?
He's top 4.
You have him at 4? Okay. I'm not going to kill you for it. To me, I'm just concerned about the turnovers. That's why I have him at 5. But still a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Regardless.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But let's just have an honest conversation. Tua, is he more talented than Jared Goff?
No, I wouldn't say.
Talented, depends how you define it.
Yeah,
but,
arm
I
talent?
don't mind. No, because I think Jared Goff has a hell of an arm.
See, what do you...
Especially in the pocket. I think he's a much better pocket passer than a lot of the guys not only on the list, but who didn't make the list.
And he's not mobile.
Russell Wilson, mobile dependent. Right. Lamar Jackson, God bless him.
He's just
Kyler Murray.
He's just dynamic.
Kyler Murray is one of my favorite ones that were brought up on this list. Kyler Murray is beyond, not only injury prone, guys. Not only injury prone. He doesn't have... I don't want to get into knocking other players. That's not the point. Kyler Murray, to me, his recent history tells me he's turning the ball over at a higher rate. He's throwing fewer touchdowns and running more. And whether you want to blame the coaching, the system, the weapons around him be my guess. I don't care. But today, I'm taking Jared Goff over Kyler Murray. Today, I'm taking Jared Goff over Derek Carr, over Cousins, over Dak, over Geno.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm crazy. I think that's like a given. I don't even think it's a debate.
Well, it depends. If you're going off production, Jared wins that.
Oh, never hurt. So stability.
And if you want to bring up playoff success, he has more playoff success than any of those guys. So what metric you want? I mean, we could go with any metric, and I think Jared would win it.
I'm gonna read like the segment that he put underneath it. Goff is in an outstanding offense with one of the best coordinators in football running the show. Depending on the numbers you look at, his stats make him look like one of the best passers in football. But it's clear to anybody with a critical eye that doesn't quite really match. Goff ranked 19th last season in PFF passing grade and 30th in big time throw rate. He's a solid quarterback for the
excuse
offense.
me. Oh, I apologize. No, I take back everything I said. He doesn't throw it sexy enough. You know who isn't a sexy thrower of the football that nobody wants to acknowledge? Patrick Mahomes. Because shut the fuck up, Lucas. 1 second, let me finish, and then you'll understand what I'm saying. You know what makes Mahomes so fucking great? Is that his first 30 passes of his, let's say you go over 35 passes, right? 30 of them are just intermediate, short, on the money, perfect passes. And then he has the 5 what the fuck throws.
Right.
Wow. Oh my goodness. It's not always about making the deep throw downfield or the one off your back foot or in duress. It's about making the normal, simple throws perfect on a consistent basis. That's what Mahomes does so well. Joe Burrow, all the great quarterbacks. You want to go to Peyton, you want to go to Tom, you want to go to anybody. They all do the easy, quote, easy routine stuff at an elite level. Jared Goff is doing that. He did that last year. You want to use the first half of the season? Jared Goff ranked top 5 in all of those metrics in terms of balls thrown over 20 yards, big play completions, all of that. And the Lions were losing. And then he started getting really elite in terms of not turning the ball over and throwing the ball 5, 10 yards at a time. And you know what happened? Lions started winning. Still finished with a top 10 offense. Please, critical eye me.
No, and this is what I hate about that description too, because I was reading some of the other descriptions, and Tua, who's ranked 11, by the way, Jared's ranked 16th. Look at the description for Tua. At the bottom of it, because it writes about, just overcoming the concussions, and it writes here on PFF, he has elite potential within Mike McDaniel's offense, but now needs to repeat it. So for Tua, he's got elite potential in Mike McDaniel's offense, but for Goff, it's he's just because Ben Johnson's so damn good.
Putting up MVP numbers.
It's like, so are we gonna diminish Tua for playing in Mike McDaniel's offense? Like, what are we doing here? I think
they're giving him a compliment in that, where in Goff's description they're just
it's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah,
with
not
Jared
even
Goff.
a compliment for him.
And I didn't know Tua had a Patrick Mahomes deep throw, a deep ball. No, he doesn't. It's the same thing. If you want to talk about Jared Goff's deep ball, you got to bring up Tua's as well. So again, it's not to discredit Tua or anything, but for Jared, no one's saying he's elite. That's not the argument. I think we'd all agree Jared is.
I think there's 6, maybe 7 elite quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Mahomes, Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. I don't love the turnovers, but Josh Allen.
Yes, I would agree with all those.
I mean, you have to say Justin Herbert.
Yep. That's all. That's pretty consensus.
I mean, you would probably say Lamar.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but I mean, that's why I said 6 or 7. I'm just going to give you the one number, right? So.
But those
it's
are
pretty
the
consensus.
guys.
Those are the guys where,
like, across the board are everyone's top 6.
Exactly. 7. That's the kid that you raised, that went to Harvard, did everything right, got married, 3 kids, financially stable, never caused you a single problem in your life. You just sleep good at night knowing, like, I did good with that. And then there's the 26, 25 other teams that are like, I raised a fucking idiot, right? And just, here we are. And then you have to rank between which idiot you like the most.